everybody, Mark from Rams Up here. I'm going to recap the first round here for you from a Rams fan's perspective and set you up for round 2 and 3 Friday night. Now, I live streamed the first round, trying to capture the end of it anyways. Had some audio issues, but once I got that figured out, I think it went pretty well. But we'll have that all settled out and figured out for the second round, and the third round tomorrow night. We'll be live streaming that, and it should be fun. Now, let's look through this first round real quickly. Anything that jumps out at us that of interest, and probably the most important thing from a Rams fan's perspective again is Seattle having a good draft, drafting Witherspoon, the cornerback, and then the Ohio State wide receiver. So they're adding some skill players. They have not addressed what is probably their biggest issue, their Achilles heel, the run defense. So we'll see if they do that tomorrow. And Detroit, I thought Detroit, led by Brad Holmes, the ex-Rams guy, was going to nail this draft. And early on, they drafted Gibbs, the running back, which I kind of raised my eyebrow drafting a running back that early, but you look at the film on him and it's like he could be a real impact player. And then they come back and draft an inside linebacker, and these guys could both turn out to be great players, but you have 2 picks in the first round and you come out of it with a running back and an inside linebacker. I'm not thrilled with that. And I think what happened to them, if you look at how things unfolded in the first round, I think they were going to jump all over Devin Witherspoon, and then the Seahawks drafted him. The Seahawks, who had drafted 2 cornerbacks last year, so Detroit's probably thinking they're not going to draft their guy, the cornerback out of Illinois, but the Seahawks did. So the Lions trade back, and I think they're settled on Christian Gonzalez with their next pick. And he comes off the board right before they're going to pick, so they flex and go with the inside linebacker. That's what I think happened, and I have a feeling the Lions staff there is a little disappointed in how things broke out. But now, what about from a Rams perspective? Late in the draft, late in this first round, excuse me, you're looking at these edge rushers dropping. And, Will McDonald unfortunately came off early, like a lot of you have been telling me he would. I was wrong. You were right. And Emmanuel Forbes, a cornerback we really liked, he came off the board. But there were 3 edge rushers that were dropping, and then they were 3 of the last 4 picks in the first round. So that was kind of disappointing. Myles Murphy, Nolan Smith, and Felix Anudike-Uzomah all come off late in the first round. And I have to think the Rams are disappointed about that. But I still think the expectation is they're going to trade out of that 36 spot. The problem is, who are their potential trading partners? But before I get to that, Pittsburgh, are they going to draft Joey Porter the second? Their old linebacker's son, very possible. Detroit missed out on 2 cornerbacks, in my opinion. They're going to go with Joey Porter or Cam Smith, most likely. So some good cornerbacks going to come off early here. So the Rams, I thought all along, if they stay at 36, they're going to go edge. And then there's Indianapolis, who took the quarterback early in Arizona. So as far as potential trade partners, this is the chart, the value chart here. And if you look over on the right, and this isn't exact science, but I think it's a pretty good guide. The Rams 36 pick is worth 540 points. Ideal trading partner would be New England, but is that their MO, to trade up? Give up picks to move up? They move up 10 spots? I'd be surprised if that happened. Unless the Rams really made it an offer they couldn't refuse. Atlanta would be a potential trading partner. Cleveland, the problem with Cleveland is they don't have a second round pick, so the Rams are going to have to drop all the way out of the second round, pick up 3 or 4 picks potentially, and I don't know if that's what they want to do either. But picking up 3 picks inside the 135 mark, Remember, the Rams have said they want 5 picks inside 150. At least that's what we heard. And if they make this trade, that would help them accomplish that. But they would not have a pick in the second round. So what do I think's going to happen? What I think's going to happen, you look at these prospects that are left. Grayed out here are guys that are gone. The not grayed out are guys that are available, and the colored cells are guys that I think the Rams would be especially interested in. You got Joey Porter, the cornerback. I think he's going in that top 5. Would the Rams trade up from 36 to 32 or 33? I don't think so. You got the quarterback and the tight end and the safety. I don't think the Rams are going in that direction at 36 if they stayed there. O'Cyrus Torrence is the only offensive lineman on the board that I would support selecting. I think O'Cyrus Torrence and Darnell Washington, the tight end down there, are 2 guys that I don't think are a value there at 36. I don't think they're especially in need. But the moment they're on your roster, you get pretty excited about it. Cam Smith, he's a cornerback that could go if the Steelers take Porter. Do the Lions take Smith? Very possible. Or another cornerback they like. And then you got Hendon Hooker and Trenton Simpson, the interior offensive lineman center. I know a lot of Ram fans like him. I think they trade back because the thing is, there's some talent here, obviously, in that 36 wheelhouse, but is it that much better than what you can get in the late 40s, even the 50s, if they can find a trading partner? I don't think so. They can still get a pretty talented player, not much of a drop-off, and add a pick or 2. None of these guys at 36 are on my, head over heels about. There's some that I would be pretty excited if they're on our roster. Darnell Washington, he's oversold at 36, but man, you're going to love this guy if he's on your team. And there's some good edge rushers still left there. Let me filter this real quickly by position, and we'll get rid of the interior offensive lineman, and we'll just go cornerback edge. And I'm going to include, I know you think I'm crazy, I'm going to include wide receiver. And if you do it that way, and the guys that are still available, let's filter it like that too. Who's available? Cornerback and edge. You got and the wide receivers, Downs and Hyatt. Wide receivers, cornerbacks, Cam Smith, Ringo, and Joey Porter. Edges, Foskey, Hall, Ojulari, who I think would be higher than Foskey in my opinion. This is the Draft Tech board, so take it for what it's worth. This isn't an exact science either. You look at these guys will be up or down 5 or 10 spots depending on what board you're looking at. But I think Draft Tech is a pretty reliable source. So that's where we're at. I think the Rams are going to trade back, but if they decide to stay, you're looking right now on this sheet, one of the guys they're going to pick, one of those guys in the top 5 or 6. And I think it's going to be edge, cornerback, and yes, potentially wide receiver. I'm telling you, it could happen if they can find a difference maker at that position. But my guess would be edge. Okay, out here for now. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back a few minutes before the second round kicks off, and we'll be tracking all these selections. And hopefully the Rams will be picking at 36, so we don't have to sit around for an extra hour or so just waiting for the Rams to finally make a selection in the 2023 draft. Out here, thanks a lot.